Hi, I'm Quigley, and you're watching my 10 to follow for the 2022-2023 National Hunt season. Now, horse number one, your darling for the Ben Pauling team. Catch this individual first time out. This horse has a very good record when fresh. We saw that at Huntingdon last season when he absolutely bolted up on Chase debut. So keep your eyes on that tracker. Find out when he's out next, because whenever he does appear, I will be on. I think he's a horse who could be a lot better than his current handicap rating suggests. Your darling for the Ben Pauling team, one I'm pretty keen on. Now, Nicky Henderson trains Dusart, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this individual tackle some of the top staying chase contests this season. The horse rounded off a pretty fruitful chasing campaign last year by winning in good style and determined fashion at Ayr. I think there's going to be a lot more to come from him. As I said, he tackles some of those big staying chases in Open and Company. He's had a little operation on his back, something which a lot of Nicky Henderson horses over the years have had to great success. He's had a full MOT. If he can stay in one piece, I do think he's a horse of a lot of ability. Sandown's Intermediate Chase, the Rising Stars, should be the type of race for him. Beyond that, something like the Coral Gold Cup could be a natural target, where off his current handicap rating, he could prove to be a few pounds well in. Look at the longer term picture. Perhaps he could make up into Cheltenham Gold Cup contender. I don't think it's a forlorn hope personally. So Dusart, the Nicky Henderson team, definitely one to follow. Well, with the Welsh Grand National in mind, well, let's think about a Welsh trainer. Let's find out a horse who's got good form on soft ground and at the Welsh venue of Chepstow. Well, you've got Pat's Fancy. As I said, I think this individual is absolutely tailor-made for the contest on December the 27th. Loves it when the mud's flying. Has form figures at Chepstow of 1, 1 and 4. That 4 came on in suitably quick ground. Keep a weather watch throughout December. The rains do arrive, as they often do in Wales over the Christmas period. I think he's going to absolutely love it. I fancy Pat's Fancy to run a really big race in the Welsh Grand National. Now, Joe Tizard trains Oscar Elite, and I really like the claims of this horse going forward into some of the big staying handicap chases. I'm thinking the Coral Gold Cup at Newbury at the end of November looks perfect for him. He made a real eye-catching seasonal reappearance in the West Yorkshire Hurdle. Now, it's interesting that Joe Tizard did something which Colin Tizard did to great success with Nated River back in 2016, following the same route, giving the horse a prep run over hurdles in the West Yorkshire Hurdle, and then going on to Newbury, returning to fences. Off 139, I think Oscar Elite could be dangerously well treated, and he won't mind if the rain arrives either. Oscar Elite, hoping he's an elite selection, he's in my 10 to follow. Well, it's not often the National Hunt Chase would contain a horse at this stage of the season, and I'm really excited about it. But I think Chemical Energy is just that. I do think this individual represents good value to win at the Cheltenham Festival in 4 or 5 months' time. Now, you might think I'm absolutely mad, but it's a kind of tried and tested method here from the Gordon Elliott team, isn't it? We saw back in 2020, Galvin went to Cheltenham's October meeting, won the same race, was bubble wrapped throughout the depths of the winter, and then came back to the festival in March and got the job done in good style. I could see a similar thing happening here with Chemical Energy. He looked better the further he went at Cheltenham's October meeting. He's jumping really warmed up. He's clearly a relentless galloper. He'll love a bit of good ground. 10 to 1 to win the National Hunt Chase. We're a few months out yet, but I do think Chemical Energy really fits the bill. Well, the Paul Nicholls-trained Hitman does have a string of seconds next to his name, but he's been running some really good races in defeat, it has to be said. Let's not forget, he's still a very young horse. I think he's open to any amount of improvement this season. And look, he got called a few names after his defeat in the Old Rome Chase, but I think hindsight will prove that was a really smart run. He was giving away lumps of weight to some classy rivals. I'm just really looking forward seeing Hitman going up to 3 miles for the first time. Paul Nicholls is going to throw him in at the deep end. He's going to try him over 3 miles in the King George on December the 26th. Now, all the talk, understandably, is about his more illustrious stablemate Brave Man's game. But I don't think Hitman is a back number. I don't think he should be left out the equation for that great race at the Sunbury venue. Hitman up to 3 miles. There's a touch of the Clanders oboes about him. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Zanny here ran some very smart races in defeat last season, but don't hold that against him. In fact, he's not winning, because I think going up to 3 miles this season can really unlock the potential of this youngster. I think he just looks a relentless galloper. It looks like a horse who's bred and built, just gives that impression that he really will come into his own over a trip. I said his 2-mile hurdling form last season was not to be sniffed at, including running an absolute belter in the champion hurdle itself. But I think 3 miles could be the key to him here. So look out for Zanny here in all the top staying hurdle contests. And I would not be shocked at all if come the stayers hurdle in March, we're talking about him as a serious contender. Well, I think Statesman is a class act, and I think he's a little bit underrated. Look, he could go novice chasing. If they decide to go that route with him, I think he'll be a major player in the likes of the Arkles or the Turners chases of this world. However, I do hope they stay over hurdles, because I think he could have a lot more to offer. All the talk, naturally, is, are you a Constitution Hill fan or a Honeysuckle fan? Well, I'm a Stateman fan. I do think he's a little bit underrated here. He improved at a rate of knots last season, arguably the most progressive horse in training with Willie Mullins last year. You look at his rating now, he's not far off the best of these. There could be more improvement to come. I just think he's a horse with a lot of class. So Stateman, to upset the apple cart, I think you could easily get involved in the champion hurdle picture. Well, Philip Hobbs trains Camprond, who amazingly is still only 6. But I think there's a lot more to come from this individual who ran a crack on really bad ground in the Coral Cup at the Cheltenham Festival, then signed off with a really nice win in Ireland. I think that could turn out to be pretty smart form. I think this horse just looked better the further he went. And again, I see the kind of pre-season bulletins coming out of the Hobbs camp are they're going to look to 3 miles at some stage this season. And again, when he does go over 3 miles, I think he could absolutely blossom. He could be a horse, like quite a few of them, I think, could come from left of field into the staying hurdle picture. Something's got to take on the mighty Flooring Porter. Maybe Camprond could be just the type to do so. Well, Nicky Henderson trains the imposing 5-year-old Walking on Air, who really is a good looker. This horse looks the part. He looks an absolute machine. And I think we could see some really good things from him on the track this season. I mean, he actually bolted up at Newbury on his penultimate start. He picked up a knock for the Cheltenham Festival. It was a bit of a rush to get him to Aintree, and he disappointed. However, I think it's a bit of a clean slate, clean bit of health with him going into this jumps campaign. Who knows where the ceiling of his ability may be. Walking on Air, I think he's a really exciting type. Nicky Henderson says that we could go chasing with him, but there's unfinished business in the hurdling ranks. I'll be interested to see what his business is, because I do think he's a horse who could really dine at the top table. Walking on Air, looking forward to seeing him.